Welcome to Apostolic Center podcast, and we're excited to get to be with you the next few weeks and months on our podcast. I wanted to start our podcast by talking about what we're going to be looking forward to in this next year, and the theme of the year is going to be momentum. And I felt like the Lord spoke to me in the fall that we had hit a time of momentum, not just moments. When you look at what a moment is, it's a brief portion of time, and Apostolic Center has been very good at brief moments of time. We've done very well as far as recognizing moments and having having the ability to see what God is doing during that time. And our church has been incredible in that, and I believe a lot of the gifting of that came from my mother. She was probably was her greatest gifting, was recognizing how important moments are. And so I'm not minimizing moments, but I think God wants to take us to a place where we go from moments to momentum. And when the church begins to become a force, it's when you take something that is mass or body and it starts moving forward, and it gains momentum, and it's difficult to stop once you have this momentum. And I feel like 2022, we're going to carry momentum into that year, and God's going to help us to see revival, see our prodigals come home, and us to draw closer to Him. And so on this podcast, I want to talk to us a little bit about momentum. And one of the best ways that I can describe it is the fact that when the children of Israel lost the Ark of the Covenant, Hophni and Phinehas took it to battle against the Philistines, and Israel lost a battle. And when they lost the battle, they also lost the Ark of the Covenant. The Philistines took the Ark and they put it in. They put the Ark in the temple of Dagon, their god. And when they put the Ark in there, in the evening time when they left, the Bible tells us that when they came back the next morning, that Dagon was fallen on his face. And so the principle is that everything bows in the presence of the Lord. And unfortunately, we would think that when people experience the presence of the Lord and everything bows, addictions, fears, trouble, stress, trials, when the presence of the Lord moves in, a lot of times we like to think that, that we'll just go on and, it'll all be okay. But the problem is that moment that it bows down, we have the same issue. I think sometimes the Philistines do. We take those fears, we take the trouble, the test, the trial, the problems, the addictions, whatever they may be, and we set them back up, just like they set Dagon back up, because that's the real God in our lives. And so it's just moments. Dagon falling, us setting it back up. Dagon falling, us setting it back up, and we feel like we're in the circle of trouble. And so the next time that the Philistines came in with the ark in the temple of Dagon, this time the head was cut off and the hands was cut off. And basically the message was, God said, look, I don't want it to just be a moment. I want it to be momentum. And this is when they began to realize, hey, we're dealing with something bigger here than what we can even deal with. And God began to take that and turn it into momentum. And then the other analogy I like to use in momentum is the story of David. And David had a lot of great moments, but it wasn't until he got in the kingdom, and God said, look, I want to do more than just give you moments. I want to give you momentum. And this momentum will be the fact that through your line, through your lineage will come Messiah. And Messiah will reign and rule for eternity. And so for David, that was momentum. And it didn't matter what his sons, grandsons, great-grandsons, all down through the line and lineage, God always kept the house of David because it had momentum to get to Messiah. And, of course, Jesus Christ, we will rule and reign with him for eternity. And so I'm thankful for momentum, and I just feel like our church is headed in that direction. We're going to have incredible momentum this year. Let's make sure that we keep doing the things that we need to do. And when you do that, I believe that's when you get generational blessing and generational promise instead of generational curse. Let's make sure that we're like David and it's generational, and let's make sure we're not like the Philistines and picking the idol up and setting it up again.